Fine, good afternoon to you all students. Hi students, how are you? I hope you all are fine and you all are doing well. I hope students, by God's grace, you and your parents, all of you are safe. Students, are you watching online classes daily? So are you watching online classes daily? So please watch online class daily, okay? Don't waste time. So what are the portions I am taking daily? So I'll give only limited questions daily, maximum 3 questions. Only I'll give maximum 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, maximum 3 questions I'll give. Please study daily portions, okay? Don't waste time. Okay, so welcome to our today's online class students. So now we are studying about chapter 2. So what's the title of our chapter? Data abstraction. Okay, so before I am going to start about today's portion, so just recall what are the things I have taught in this second chapter and also what are the important questions. Okay, so what are the things I have taught in the second chapter? So once more revise it. Define ADT, important 2-mark question. Then define, ADT means abstract data type. Then define abstraction, that is important, book inside 2-mark question. Then define constructor and selector, book back 3-mark question. Differentiate, then constructor and selector, that also book back 3-mark question. Then 5-mark question. So you need to write from which one? That constructor and selector question. So you need to write from this ADT, abstraction, constructor and selector, example, then diagram. Okay, so this much of questions you have studied. Then one important question is studied, which strategy is used to design the program. Which one? Wishful thinking. So last class, at the last I have explained this one. So what do you mean by wishful thinking? This is one of the important and 2-mark question. Okay, book back 2-mark question. So which strategy is useful to design a programming? Okay, so which strategy is useful to design programming? Wishful thinking. What do you mean by wishful thinking? So first you are going to implement. For example, you are going to devise something or implementing something or inventing something. So before that, what you will think? So in your mind, you will have lot of thoughts. So this thing need to become like this, or this need to works like this, isn't it? So in your mind, you will be thinking like that. Okay. So what are the things you are thinking in your mind? So your thought will be, in reality, everything needs to be come in the same way what you are thinking in the mind, isn't it? Same only wishful thinking. Read the sentence. It's the formation of beliefs. So believing whatever you are believing and making decisions according to the imagine. So you need to take decisions according what you are imagining in your mind instead of by appealing to reality. That means in reality what you are imagining in your mind, that you need to appeal in the real world. Understood? This is important book back 2-mark question. Okay, which strategy is used to design programming? That is wishful thinking. You need to write these 3 lines. Okay. So next important topic, next we are going to study about list and tuple. This is important 5-mark question as well as 2-mark question. Define list with example. Okay, and also one important 5-mark question. So 5-mark question you need to write from here. Okay, so now we are studying about data abstraction. What do you mean by data abstraction? So only it will display important details and hiding the background. That is called what? Data abstraction. Okay. So to implement such a kind of data abstraction, so now this year you are going to study which programming language? Python. Okay. So this Python programming language will provide a important structure. Okay. To implement the data abstraction concept, this Python language will provide what? Important structure. What's the structure it will provide? Means pair. Okay, so to implement the data abstraction concept, so this Python language will implement a new common structure called what? Pair. Okay, so if you need to implement a pair, so that pair is made up of 2 things. Okay, list or tuple. Understood? You are going to implement a data abstraction concept. So in your Python language, you are going to implement the data abstraction concept mean. So you need to use a important structure called what? Pair. Okay. If you need to implement a pair in the programming language mean, you should use 2 concepts. What are they? List or tuple. Okay. So that last line is important 1-mark question. Okay. The first way to implement pairs with dash list. Okay, so the best and first way to implement pair is what? list. Now you are going to study about what do you mean by list and what do you mean by tuple in detail. Okay, first list. Okay, so the 5 mark question you need to write from that last slide. Okay, first one is list. What do you mean by list? So this is the definition of list. See the definition. So list is constructed by placing expression within square bracket separated by commas. Okay, that's the definition. So please don't skip even a single word in the definition. If you skip a single word means also you will lose mark. Okay, so what do you mean by list mean? So inside the square bracket you are going to place lot of things. That means maybe a alphabet, maybe a comma b comma c, or numbers 1 comma 2 comma 3, or expression x square plus y square comma a square plus b square. Okay, so list is constructed by placing expressions. Okay, so expression nothing but maybe variables, numbers or anything, but each and everything is separated by commas. Okay, for example a b c 3 alphabet you are enclosing inside, so and also each and everything is enclosed within one square bracket. Understood? For example, I am going to write 3 items or 3 things inside the list A, B, C. So how I need to write A, comma, B, comma, C. So list means variables or numbers or expression placed inside what? Placed inside square bracket. So if within you need to enclose within square bracket A, comma, B, comma, C. So separated by commas. Okay, so what are the things you are placing inside the square bracket? Maybe expression or number. That is called what? List literal. Okay, important 1 mark question. So expression which is placed inside the list is called what? List literal. Understood the second point? What's the definition? So what's the definition? All of you say list is constructed by placing expression. Understood the definition? So you are going to place expression, maybe numbers, variables or alphabets or anything. So within which one you need to place? Within, that is enclosed within square bracket separated by commas. Maybe a comma b comma c, or 1 comma 2 comma 3. Okay, or x square comma y square. Okay, anything. So expression, whatever things you are placing inside the square bracket, we are calling that as a what? A list literal. Okay, so this list, then third point. Okay, so this list can store multiple values. Multiple values means more number of values. Understood? So the list can store what? More number of, that is more than one number of values, that is multiple values. Okay, not only one value, more than one value you can able to store inside the list. And also next thing, each value can be of any type. So type in the sense data type, maybe integer, float, character or anything. So you are storing some variables, numbers, expressions, everything in the same list. For example, a comma b, then 1 comma 2. So how many data type is there? A comma b comma c means which data type? Character. Then 1 comma 2 means which data type? Integer. Then 1.1, 2.2, which data type? Float. So list can be store any type of or any data type of value. Understood 4 points? See the example. So here list is, see inside the square bracket they are giving 2 numbers. What are they? 10 comma 20. Understood? So the definition of the list, if they ask for 2 mark or 3 mark questions, means also you need to write these points full. Okay, what are the points? First is the definition. What's the definition? List is constructed by placing a expression. So that expression need to be placed inside by a square bracket. Okay, and each and every element is separated by what? Commas. Okay, so the expression we are calling as a what? List literal. So and also inside the list you can able to store more number or multiple values. So and also each value of any data type. Then example you need to write. Understood the definition of list? Okay. Then next you are going to accessing the elements in the list. What do you mean by accessing? Getting or taking. Okay, next you are going to take or get the elements from the list. Okay, so to access the elements from a list, there are 2 ways are there. Okay, 5 mark question, this and all you need to write. First you need to start from that list, then you need to write this one. Okay, so the elements of a list can be accessed by how many ways? 2 methods or 2 ways. Okay, so the first way, what's the first method means? Multiple assignment method. What's the name of the first method? Multiple assignment method. Okay, first you need to write. So you're going to access the elements in a list. So to access the elements in a list, how many methods are there or how many ways are there totally? 2 ways. What are the 2 ways? First way is to access using which one? Multiple assignment. Okay, so what's the meaning of multiple assignment mean? So it will unpack list. So what do you mean by pack? Pack means it will arrange some elements inside the list. So but here first it will unpack the list, and next it will bind each element to a different name. That means so it will give how many elements are there inside the list. Each and every element it will give different names. Understood? 2 points you have studied. First it should unpack the list. That means it will not arrange, or first it will unpack a list. Next, so it will bind or it will give each and every element with a different name. Understood the 2 point? See the example. See the example. What's the first thing? First one is a list. List LST. What's the name of the list here? What's the name of the list? LST. LST is the name of the list. Then how many elements are there inside the list? 2. What are they? 10, 20. How you are identifying this is the list? Because so the elements are enclosed within square bracket and separated by commas. Okay. So what's the first method name? Multiple assignment. What's the first method? What's the use? It will give, that is important. It will give or bind each element with a different name. So 2 elements are there. What are the 2 elements? 10, 20. So these 2 elements you are giving 2 different names. What are the 2 different names you are giving? See, x, y equal to list. What's the mean x, y? So x is assigned to the value 10. Y is assigned to the value what? 20. Understood? Instead of calling the value directly, you are going to assign the different names to the values. Okay, what are the different names? First, here only 2 elements are there. So how many names you need to give? Only 2 names, x, y. So what's the value of x now? 10. What's the value of y now? 20. So understood the first method? So to access the elements in a list, there are 2 methods are there. What's the name of the first method? Multiple assignment. So what's the use of multiple assignment? First it will unpack. So it will arrange in order, means it will unpack the elements inside the list. Next it will give different name for each element. Maybe 10 element means it will give 10 different names. Okay, 20 elements means 20. 3 elements means 3 different names. Okay, so see this example. What's the first thing? LST equal to 10, 20. So what's the LST in the sense? The name of the list. So inside the list how many elements are there totally? 2. What are they? 10, 20. See the next line. So you are going to assign 2 different names. What are the names? X, y. So that means the 2 elements are there. You are going to assign 2 different names for that element. So the value of x becomes 10 now. The value of y becomes 20. Understood the first method? Okay. Then second method. Okay, this and all you need to write for 5 mark question. So second method name is selection operator. Element selection operator. Okay, have you seen this one? What's the name of the second method? Element selection operator. What's the name of the second method? Element selection operator. Okay, so this method you need to express using square bracket. Okay, so the selection operator method always you need to express using which one? Square bracket. Okay, so what's the name of the second method? So second method to access the elements in the list is called which one? Which method? Element selection operator. So here you need to express the elements using which one? Square bracket. Okay, so first method you are going to assign different names for the values present inside the list, isn't it? But here you are not going to assign any name for the values in the list, but you are going to give some index values or place values for each element. Understood? Okay, so each value, instead of giving different names to the element, you are giving some place value or index value for each element. And also each value you are giving preceding expression. Preceding expression means, for example, the index always starts with the value 0. Okay, for example, 2 values are there, means first index value is 0, second index value is 1. So that is preceding. First one is 0. What's the next preceding is 1. Next is 2. That is preceding. Okay, the place value. So what's the second method? So second method for accessing the list elements is what? Selection operator method. Okay, so this method all the elements you need to enclose using which one? Square bracket. Okay, so first method you are going to assign different names for each element, but this method you are not going to assign different names for the element. Instead of that, you are going to assign what? Place value or index value for each element. Okay, how you are assigning? So based on the preceding, that is before expression. Understood? See this example. So LST equal to 10 comma 20. Same example. Z, how first itself I said the index value always starts with the value. Index value is nothing but place value. Okay. So what's the place value of first one? Index value always starts with the 0. Last year also you have studied the same thing in array concept. Same thing. Okay. So index value starts with 0. So what's the index value of 10 now? 0. So what's the index value of 20 now? 1. So how you need to access the elements or how you need to call the element mean with the name of the list followed by the index value. Okay, name of the list followed by the index value. So what's the name of the list now? LST. Okay, so LST of 0. LST of 0 means what answer you will get? What's the 0th index place? 10. So LST of 20. Sorry, LST of 1. 1 means in the place value of 1, what's value? 20. Understood? Understood this question? Two methods you have studied. Okay, so both you have studied two methods, isn't it? So in that, so it is similar to a set. So in the max you have studied, no? Same way. If you are seeing means it is similar to a set. Okay. So listen, see the example. LST 0, 10, 1, 20. Okay. So inside the square bracket you are declaring what? How many elements? 4 elements. So first 0, 10 you are enclosing in a first thing set, and second 1, 20 is representing in a second set. So what's the meaning of this one means? Listen. So the 0 index, that is first one, 0, 10, isn't it? So 0 represents the index position or the index value or the place value, and the 10 represents the value of the list. Okay, the first one is representing which one? Index position or index value. Second one is the value of the list. Okay, so what's the index position? 0, 10 means 0 is the place value or index value, 10 is the value. Okay, likewise second one 1, 20. First one is the index position. So what's the index position? 1. 20 is the value. So you are giving the place value and the element in a same bracket. So what's the meaning of that one means? See the definition. So this is called pair. This is called what? Pair. So see the definition. Anyway, what do you mean by pair? Mean very, very important 2-mark question. Define pair. So any way of bundling of two values together. Okay, bundling of two values together. It is called as what? Pair. So how many values you are bundling here? 2. What are they? Index value and the current, that is the element value. You are bundling into a single, that is single bracket. That is called what? Pair. Understood the definition? So in the definition of pair, you need to write the 3 lines along with the picture you need to draw. Okay, what do you mean by pair? Bundling of two values in a one is called what? Pair. So which is the common thing to do? So list also you have studied, isn't it? List also contains index value and the place value. So list is a common method to do this pair. Okay, so see this important 1 mark question. The list is otherwise called as dash pairs. List is otherwise called as what? Pairs. Understood? So important 2 mark question. This is pair. So what is the definition of pair? Any way of bundling of two values together is called what? Pair. Together into one. That is called important. Called pair. Okay, which one is the common method to do so? List is a common method. So what's the other name of list? Pairs. Okay. So today up to this enough. Tomorrow we can study about tuples. So what are things you have studied today? Important question. Wishful thinking. Important 2 mark question book back. Then define tuple. Important 2 mark question. Define pair. Important 2 mark question. Then 5 mark question. List and tuple. So one part of the 5 mark question you have completed. That is list. Where you need to write definition of list. The 2 methods. What are the 2 methods? What are the multiple assignment method and selection operator method? With their example you need to write. And also you need to write this one. Till this pairs you need to write for that 5 mark question. Understood? Starting from the list, then from there to till this pairs. Pairs definition with this diagram, everything you need to write. Okay, today up to this enough students. Tomorrow we can continue the remaining portion. So today after completion of this session, please study all the questions. Don't waste time. Okay, thank you students. Take care.